today. So for this part of your lash extension course, we're going to be going through patch testing. So does anyone know what patch testing means? No. So patch testing is basically testing the products on your clients before you do the treatment to make sure they don't have any allergic reactions to anything. So we'll be going through that today. Now, if you can all turn to page 23 of your training booklets. There's some information on conducting a patch test on 23 and 24. I'm just going to give you a few moments to have a little read through that. As you're reading, I have given you all a word glossary. So if there's any words that you're unsure of, check them with the glossary, and we can always ask questions afterwards as well.
Looks very sore.
Yes. There's also a simplified version of the instructions in a handout that I've given you. I'll just link that. Has everyone finished reading?
Yep.
Yeah. So basically, the reason why we do a patch test for eyelash extensions is because of the glue and other products used clients can be allergic to. So basically, this is what could end up happening if you don't do a patch test. Okay, so we do not want this to happen to our clients. So it's really, really important that we test before we treat anyone with eyelash extensions, and to cover yourselves and protect the clients as well. And so what we're going to be doing today is I'll be talking to you a little bit about patch testing and how we do it. I'm going to show you a demo on myself of how we do it. And then in the next section of the session, you're going to practice on each other, so which will be a bit like a practical demonstration, and I'll assess you on that. And then you'll be doing your written assessment as well. When you are practicing on each other, I want you to treat each other like a client. So I want you to be able to tell each other what you're doing and why you're doing it as well. Okay, so that'll be part of the assessment. Okay, so there is a few things that the clients can be most commonly allergic to, which is the glue. It doesn't matter which glue you use, all glues contain an ingredient called cyanacrylates, and that's in all lash extension glues. So if they're allergic to one glue, they're going to be allergic to all the glues, okay? So this is definitely something that you want to test. Another thing is your under eye gel patches. So these sit underneath the client's eyes like this. This is something they can be allergic to as well, so you definitely want to test this. And the medical tape. I'm quite sensitive to medical tape myself. I don't know about any of you, but you know, if I ever have a blood test or anything, I'll actually get a reaction from where they put the tape on afterwards. And so again, you want to check out your clients, because if they've got this tape on their skin for 2 hours and they're a little bit sensitive, after 2 hours they might be very, very sensitive. So check that as well. I mean, if they have an allergic reaction to, say, medical tape, but not the gel pads and not the glue, then you can still do the treatment, but you just wouldn't use the medical tape, and vice versa. Same with the patches. If they have an allergic reaction to the patches, you could use tape and the glue. But if they have a reaction to the glue, you just can't do it. So doing a patch test can be quite simple. There are 2 ways of doing it. So the first way is to pop all the products on the inner arm of the elbow. And so you want to do basically a dot of glue, you want to put the gel patches on, and you want to put the tape on. You'll leave them all on for 15 minutes, and then 15 to 30 minutes. Then you take them off, you'll leave the glue dot on though, and then the client will go home. Now, a reaction can occur anywhere between like straight away, instantly, or 48 hours. So it's something that can actually develop. So you want to make sure that you're scheduling your clients in for that treatment at least 2 days before you're doing the eyelash extensions.
Would they have to pay for that appointment then?
Sometimes they can pay for it, sometimes they don't. So a lot of places will get them to do a consultation plus a patch test at the same time, which they say might charge like $15 for, and then they would actually use that redeemable against their actual eyelash appointment, just so that the therapist isn't losing out on those 15 minutes, but then the client's also not losing money, because you're then going to get it back for your lash extensions anyway. So yeah, the reason why we do patch testing is again to stop those different reactions from occurring. So do you guys know how an allergic reaction occurs? So it's the histamines in your body. So when your body sees something as foreign and it's placed onto your body, and your body will start to attack it basically. And it will see it as foreign and it will send all the histamines into your body, into that area, which will then make it swell. So it could be swelling, redness, itchiness, it can be hives, there's lots of different things, but mainly when it comes to eyelash extensions, it's generally this kind of swelling that will occur. And like I said, it might not occur straight away, but it can occur a couple of days later. So if you don't patch test your clients and they come in, like you do the appointment, like a couple of days later they can still react and then they'll be calling you and be upset. So it's actually something that is a condition by law that you actually have to do a patch test as well. So it's really important that you do it before every client's appointment. Now there's a few different types of reactions, so you can see how, you can see it in your books as well if you can't see my picture so clearly. But for example with the middle section, the reaction is just underneath, so that's quite clearly a reaction to the gel pads. And the top one, her eyes are swollen everywhere, so this is quite a severe reaction. A reaction could be quite mild, so just a bit of redness and inflammation, or it can be very severe like this. If they do have a reaction, it's really, really important that they seek medical help straight away. So whether it's going to their doctor or their GP or going to hospital if it's really that bad. Most of the time it's a case of taking some antihistamines, but we're not allowed to prescribe anything like that. So the best thing to do is if they have a reaction, they call the doctor and they call you to let you know. Now, if they've had a really severe reaction like this, you do want to get the lash extensions off, but the product you use to remove the lash extensions is also a chemical. So you wouldn't do it straight away. So to then use the debonder, which is the product you use to unstick the lash extensions, you have to wait until this reaction has gone basically. So you've been to see the doctor, they've got their medical treatment. Once that reaction has gone, you can then use the debonder to take it off, but you wouldn't do it straight away. They need that to calm down first. Any questions on that so far?
Do you ever see people that don't react to the patch test here but then do there?
Unfortunately, yeah, you do. So it can be to the quantity that you're applying. Obviously, when we do a patch test, we only do a really small amount. And when you have lash extensions, you've got a larger amount of glue, the extensions, the pads are on for a lot longer. But at least you've done the patch test.
Yeah.
So at least you've tried, and you've kind of covered yourself for that part of it. But yes, it definitely can happen. So yeah, I think we were talking about the different ways to do it. So in the arm, but you can also do it behind the ear. So if the client is then say going to an occasion or a function that night or going out or something, you can actually do all this behind their ear, so at least they can hide it with their hair if anything were to happen, or you know, or if they, unless you have short hair, or if they've got a glue dot left behind their ear. But I mean, the glue dot will wash off within 24 hours anyway. So what happens is your client will come into your salon. You will do a consultation with them. Obviously, consultations are covered in another part of this session. But you do your consultation, you ask them all the questions you need to ask them, and then you perform a patch test. So you explain to the client that you're going to apply some products to their skin, check with the client where they'd like their patch test done with, if they'd like it behind their ear or on their arm. I'm just going to do my arm, obviously, because it's easier for you guys to see. And then you just let the client know that you'll be placing the products on the skin. So all you need to do is place one of each on there.
So now they have to keep these on for 48 hours?
No, so they just keep these on 15 to 30 minutes.
Oh, yes.
So yeah, you can either, it depends, like I basically would put them on at the start of the consultation and be chatting to them through the consultation, and then by the time you've done the consultation, it's ready to go. You would remove the, I've got very moisturised skin today, you would remove the tape and the gel patch before they go home, but you can leave the glue on. And then you would just put a dot of glue on their skin. Now the glue is wet, so it's really important that they don't, close their arm or touch it or anything like that, and let it dry. And then you just need to wait, the 15 minutes or 30 minutes. If you've got a client that you are worried about any sensitivities with, I definitely leave it as long as possible. So if a client has had reactions to any type of glue before, like medical glue or anything like that, then maybe leave it on as long as possible. If the client is pretty cruisy and doesn't have any issues, then yeah, 15 minutes will be fine. And then, so when you get to your end of your 15 minutes, you just take the products off, leave the glue dot on, and send them on their way. Make sure before they go that they know to contact you if there's any issues and to go to their GP if they do have a reaction. And if they don't have a reaction, you can check back in with them in 48 hours, and if there's no reaction, then you can go ahead and do your lash extensions. Okay? Is there any questions about how we do that before you guys get started? No. So you're going to be working on each other. So you'll do Nadine will do you, and vice versa. And you'll each get a turn. So remember, as you're talking to each other, to explain what you're doing and why you're doing it. And then once we've all finished that and we all feel quite comfortable with that, we'll move on to your written assessment. Okay?
Thank you.
Do you want to go first?
Okay.
We can share. Don't open another whole pot.
No, it's
they're already open.
It's already
And
open.
it doesn't matter what type, like tap both there, both taps. There you go.
Alright, I'm doing it on me first.
The glue doesn't come
Okay.
fast, so just be...
Okay.
So, do you have any sensitivities at all to any beauty products? No. Have you ever had any sensitivity to any glue in any medical procedures or anything like that? Alright, so we're going to put all
Not to
three of
any
these
of the,
things
I've never
on there.
reacted to
Do you prefer on the inside of your arm or
So let's give it a go.
I'll just put it
Yeah.
here.
I'm going to put all three of these on here and leave them between 15 and 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And then see if you have any reactions straight away, but just remember it can take up to 48 hours before you experience any reactions. If you do, you need to, if it's really bad, you need to seek medical help straight away and also let me know. And if it's not, then we'll see you back here to do lashes.
Yeah, so there's a sticky back to it, so you just want to take that off. There you go.
Oh, it's 2 layers.
Oh, now,
There
That's it.
so you want to do one hand. So I might have to help you out.
That's okay.
You're good.
No, all good.
There we go.
Okay.
Alright.
Kidding.
How are you feeling?
Oh, shall I open that for you?
Is that my
preparation?
Yes, that would be lovely. Okay. Yes, I would like to get this.
Your phone's ringing.
Okay, so I'm going to be doing a patch test on you today to see if you are allergic to any of the products that we'll be using to do lash extensions. Have you had any reactions to any beauty products
I
before?
haven't, but my face is sensitive to like alcohol and stuff like that.
Okay, no worries. Well, I'll put these on now, so then while we're chatting, that they might be on.
Yes, it is, and it's definitely good
So
to
I'm going to
patch
stick
test
these on.
everyone.
Would you like it on?
Yeah,
here or-
no, because
Good.
otherwise.
So I'll take on there
Mhm.
and get your.
Alright, so we'll have to wait
There
15
we
minutes
go.
and just leave the glue dot on.
It'll come off.
These are not super sticky. They're not
No,
super
that's
sticky.
okay.
Wonderful,
Like
thank you,
that.
Mandy.
No problem. Okay, now.
Well, if you want to swap over when you're ready.
Alright.
Oh,
Can we get to your inner arm?
No, either did I.
I'm just.
So we'll leave this on and we'll dry in a minute, so just try and keep your arm, don't bend it up so that it sticks. So we're going to leave this on for about 15 to 30 minutes and see if you have any reaction. Now, the reactions can sometimes take up to 48 hours, so when you get home, make sure you keep an eye on it. If you notice any reactions, if they're really severe, you need to call a doctor or a medical professional and also let me know. But if you don't have any reactions after 48 hours, you can then call and
we get into
the
the reaction could happen up to 48 hours later. So we'll give you a call after
That's going to take a
48
lot
hours
of
to
dry,
see
so
if there's
it's a lot.
anything wrong. If anything doesn't go in that time, call your doctor and go and make a
No,
That's what makes it more like mascara.
Yeah, that makes
That's
sense.
why.
Yeah, because I would have just thought it would be clear because you like wanted to, but that would make sense. It makes it obviously
Yeah,
darker
yeah.
and enhance around.
Yeah.
Have you had any reactions?
Yes,
Yeah.
there is actually clear
Times
glues as well. So
before?
the clear glues are more for like people that are more sensitive.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because the black sauce is
Oh,
collagen
it's got
and an extra
pigment in it.
ingredient.
Yeah.
No
No idea.
No idea. Right, seems to have
So we're going to leave this on,
stuck.
like I said, for 15 to 30 minutes. And then we can take it off and you can be on your way. And let me know if you do find a reaction or experience a reaction. Just call your doctor if you find that it's severe. That's weak. Otherwise, we will be in touch after 48 hours to schedule your actual lash extension appointment.
Great, thank you.
So go have a cup of tea in the waiting room and we shall take it off shortly.
Okay.
Lovely. How did you all feel about that?
Yeah, good. Yeah.
Yep. Would you feel quite confident in doing that to a client?
Yes.
Yeah. And you feel quite
Yes.
confident in explaining the knowledge and everything as
Yeah.
well? Yeah, perfect. So just remember, a reaction can be anything from itching, swelling, redness, full-blown like puffiness of the eyes or area.
I didn't say that down.
No,
No, that's okay.
Yes.
So that's maybe something
Yeah.
we remember as
Yeah,
well.
it can be mild or severe.
Yeah, so any sort of reaction you need to know about. I mean, if it's a very, very mild reaction, just like a slight bit of itchiness, then there maybe are other glues or other things that you can use if it was the glue or gel pads and that sort of
Yeah.
thing. So some gel pads have different products in them, like different ingredients to others. Some are really plain, some have collagen, so there are ways around it. And again, with tapes, some are sensitive tapes. And so yeah, it depends what they're allergic to. But like I said, with the glue, only if it's a very, very mild reaction would you maybe then test a different glue. There's other sensitive glues on the market. But if it's stronger, anything stronger, then you just wouldn't do it.
I guess you have to tell the client to remember where the things were, because if the reaction occurs there, then it's the tape, but if it occurred there.
Yeah, that's a really good thing. Yeah, so yeah, you kind of you can either do it on separate arms or separate areas if you feel like the client might be someone that would get that confused. But yeah, I mean, you probably see, because you'll see obviously like a dot of glue and a reaction around it, and you can see the bigger area for the tape and that sort of thing. But yeah, that's a very good point as well. So everyone feels quite confident with that?
Yep.
So the next part we just need to do, this is a very small part of the course, but the next part we need to do is just your written assessment.
Yep.
So I'm just going to grab you all some pens. Okay, so you now all have your written assessments in front of you. They are multiple choice, but if you do get really stuck with reading anything, if you don't understand any of the words, then refer to your word glossary, or pop your hand up and I can come along and help you. Again, if there's something that you're really, really unsure of, feel free to ask and maybe we'll stop and have a discussion about it to make sure everyone's clear about it. So I'll give you some time to do that and don't rush it, and as soon as you finish, we'll perhaps discuss it afterwards. Okay?
And we have our books open.
And no books closed.
Okay. Lisa, I need some help with question 3.
Yeah, I'm just putting a extra one there. Yeah.
So they can be allergic to the tape, the glue,
Mm-hmm.
and the gel pad.
Yes.
That one there.
Yeah, that one there.
That one there.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I got that confused.
I actually feel this itching on me. Interesting.
Is it in your head?
It might, no, it's something. I think it's the medical tape, but I often, when I get a vaccination or something.
I'm now feeling a reaction to
Oh,
that.
Yeah, keep going.
Yes. Lovely. Is everyone finished?
Yeah.
Is there anything anyone struggled with? Oh, just pop your names on top of them as well, just so I know whose forms they are. Lovely.
I was a bit confused with question 9, where it said, would you do eyelash extensions on someone if they had a reaction? So, like, if they had a reaction, you could try an alternative. So it's like, would it be yes or would it be no?
Yeah. So yeah, I guess from where we started in the learning, if it's a severe reaction, no. I guess that question doesn't make it extremely clear. You can always enhance on that question, but it's a good point to bring up from the test. Thank you very much. That yes. Remember, only if it's a very, very mild reaction would you then perhaps test another glue. Did anyone else get stuck on anything?
No.
That's great. You've all got question questions right. Well done, girls.
Yes.
So after this, you'll continue with the rest of the course of learning eyelash extensions. This just was one small section of it, so then we'll go on to learn other things, and then you'll be able to bring everything together to apply all the knowledge for treating your clients. So yeah, everyone feels confident today in performing patch tests, talking to their clients, and the knowledge behind it.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll move on to the next section.